Welcome back to my channel, Famous and Fabulous. So, what just happened in Hollywood? Johnny Depp and Penélope Cruz have done something no one expected, and it feels like the whole movie business just woke up with a shock. This isn't the usual gossip story, note another old headline or boring movie. Sequel announcement. This is something real, something brave, and it has people everywhere talking. Fans are surprised, people who work in movies are whispering, and Hollywood itself feels like it's getting ready for a big shakeup. Because when two famous stars like Depp and Cruz decide to surprise everyone, the effects go everywhere. Think about how long people have watched Johnny Depp's story. For many years, he's been one of the most interesting people in movies. He's there, Belle, the outsider, the guy who somehow became one of the biggest stars on the planet while still playing the weirdest, most daring characters. From Edward Scissorhands to Captain Jack Sparrow, from small movies that fans love to billion-dollar big movies, Depp has always walked between art and being famous. And then, of course, the bad times came. The court cases, the blame, the trial watched, around the world. His career, once safe, seemed like it might fall apart for good. Movie companies pulled back, projects disappeared, Hollywood turned its back. For a while, it looked like he might never come back. And then there's Penélope Cruz. Her story is different. She's someone you can count on. She started in Spanish movies, became an international star, and kept going up. She won an Oscar, worked with famous directors like Pedro Almodovar and Woody Allen. Mixed Hollywood big movies with small European dramas, and built a reputation as one of the best actresses alive. Unlike Depp, she never disappeared from view. She stayed away from trouble, stayed normal, and kept working at the highest level. She's respected, loved, and adored both in Spain and around the world. Now, when you put these two together, something exciting happens. We've seen it before. Back in 2001, when they acted in Blow, their connection was impossible to ignore. Depp played George Young, the hopeful but doomed drug smuggler, and Cruz was Mirtha, his wild and crazy partner. Their scenes were full of excitement, love, mess, and danger. It wasn't the kind of connection you can fake. It felt real and alive, and audiences saw it. That movie made them a pair that worked. Then in 2011, they worked together again in Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. By then, Depp was the world megastar, carrying one of Disney's biggest movie series on his shoulders. Cruz came in as Angelica, a mysterious woman from Jack Sparrow's past. She wasn't a helper. She wasn't a background person. She was his equal, his rival, and his partner in trouble. Watching them on screen together was fun, crazy, and full of sparks. Fans loved it, and after that, people began asking when would we see Depp and Cruz together again? For more than 10 years, the answer was silence. Rumors floated around here and there. A reporter would drop a hint. Photographers would snap a photo of them at the same event. Fans would guess hoping for another movie together. But nothing ever happened. It almost felt like their time as a screen pair had passed until now. It started with small signs. Photographers caught them leaving the same hotel in Spain. They weren't seen together. Of course, Hollywood stars know how to avoid that, but the timing was too close to ignore. Then there were whispers about meetings, about script readings, about private dinners in Madrid. Social media lit up with ideas. Was it a movie? Was it personal? Was it just coincidence? Fans talked endlessly, and then came the announcement. Johnny Depp and Penélope Cruz are working together for a huge project. Not a small part, not a tiny independent movie hidden away in festivals. A big, bold, expensive movie that people who know are already calling a game changer. The internet went crazy. Twitter was trending for hours. Reddit discussions ran wild. Instagram fan pages posted collections of their past movies together, celebrating the comeback pairing no one thought would actually happen. But here's the twist. This isn't just another Hollywood movie. It's not a money-grabbing sequel, nota reheated franchise. This is something original. According to sources close to the production, the script is unlike anything either of them has done before. It's daring, dark, and deep. For Depp, It means stepping into a role that takes away the bigger-than-life persona and takes him back to his roots. Complex, messed up, deeply human characters. For Cruz, it's a role that needs both power and softness, something that allows her to show the range that made her a star in the first place. Together, it's a mix Hollywood hasn't seen in years. Of course, fans reacted right away. Some celebrated it as the comeback of the decade. Others were careful. Could Depp really make it back after so much trouble? Would Hollywood accept him again? Or was this meant to be a risky gamble? And what about Cruz? Would she outshine him, or would this partnership remind people why they worked so well in the first place? The arguments raged. People pick sides. And in a way, that's exactly what makes this story so interesting. Now let's clear something up. A lot of rumors hit the internet the moment this story broke. Some claimed it was another Pirates of the Caribbean spin-off. Others swore it was a hidden sequel to Blow. None of that is true. This isn't a sequel. This isn't a franchise. This is an original story directed by someone known for taking risks. Someone who doesn't play by Hollywood's safe rules, and that alone makes it exciting. Here's the part most people don't know. This reunion might not have happened without Cruz. According to people close to the project, she was the one who reached out. She reportedly told producers that Depp was perfect for Theral, that he deserved another chance, and that no one else could bring the character to life. That's loyalty. In an industry where so many stepped away the moment trouble strikes, Cruz stood by him. She didn't just offer nice words, she took action, she made it happen. Industry voices are already buzzing. One producer called it the ultimate comeback story. Another said it's proof that real talent never disappears. It just waits for the right moment. And if you've been paying attention, you know this moment has been building for a while. Depp has been slowly coming back. First through music touring with Hollywood vampires, then through Dior ads, reminding the world he's still a global icon, then through smaller appearances, festival circuits, European projects. It was like watching a slow rebuild, brick by brick, and now this movie with Cruz feels like the big return. So what happens next? The plan is to start filming in Europe, possibly in Spain or France. Rumors suggest a late next year release with whispers about a premiere at Cannes. Just imagine it. Depp and Cruz side by side, on the red carpet, camera flashes. Going off? Headlines being written in real time, social media exploding with every single photo. If the movie delivers what the people who know are promising, awards season talk is almost guaranteed. But beyond the movie itself, this is bigger. It's not just about two actors signing on to another project. It's about rewriting entire stories that have followed them for years. For Johnny Depp, this is about something far deeper than screen time. It's about showing the world that he's more than the headlines that tried to define him. For too long, the focus was not on his talent, not on the roles. That made him famous, but on the courtroom dramas, the accusations, the endless debates in the public square. Every article, every meme, every broadcast seemed to reduce him to controversy. But Johnny Depp was never just controversy. He's Edward Scissorhands. He's Captain Jack Sparrow. He's the weird genius who could disappear into characters in a way that made audiences forget they were even watching Johnny Depp. This project is his chance to remind everyone of that. It's his opportunity to step out of the shadows of scandal and back into the spotlight of art where he belongs. And then there's Penélope Cruz. Her story here is just as powerful, though very different. She's always been respected, always admired, always steady in her craft. She doesn't need this project to prove anything for herself. Her resume speaks volumes. She has Oscars, critical acclaim, box office success. But what makes her involvement special is loyalty and influence. In Hollywood, loyalty is rare. Careers are fragile, reputations even more so. When one actor faces trouble, many others step back, worried that supporting them might damage their own standing. Cruz didn't do that. She stood firm. By lending her credibility, her name, her power, she's helping to open a door that might otherwise have stayed shut for Depp. That's more than friendship. It's leadership. It's using her position to give someone she believes in a second chance. And in an industry that often pretends to care about second chances but rarely follows through, her move is both risky and admirable. Movie deals soon followed. The industry, realizing the power of his name, began to offer him roles again. There was excitement in the air, talk of comebacks, of characters he might bring to life, of scripts that had been waiting for someone like him. For Johnny, it was a second chance, not just to work, but to remind the world why he mattered in the first place. For him, the verdict was more than words on paper. It was freedom to live again, to create without the chains of accusation, to step back into a spotlight that for a time had been unbearably harsh. Amber, on the other hand, found herself facing a very different reality. When the judgment was read, it wasn't only the legal loss that weighed heavy, it was the huge wave of public opinion. The internet, already harsh toward her during the trial, now turned into an avalanche. Memes, commentary, criticism, even cruelty poured in from every corner. For many, she was no longer just an actress. She became a symbol of mistrust, someone defined more by the case than by her work. And while Johnny's supporters celebrated, Amber's supporters dwindled, drowned out by the noise of the larger crowd. The criticism wasn't just online, it affected her career too. Studios hesitated. Roles that might have once been hers slipped away. Public appearances became rare. She began to step away from the Hollywood spotlight, not because she had lost her ambition, but because she knew the world wasn't ready to see her as anything but the woman from that trial. So, she moved abroad. She tried tour build in her own way. She chose quiet streets over flashing cameras, a low-key life over the pressure of red carpets. Away from Hollywood, she found a space where she could breathe, where she could exist without every glance being dissected. Still, she didn't vanish completely. She appeared occasionally, sometimes for projects, sometimes for causes she believed in. But it was different now. Every move she made was measured, cautious, as if each step carried the weight of 1,000 judgments, while Johnny was embraced with open arms. Amber carried the heavy burden of being defined by a trial she could never escape. For her, the verdict wasn't just the end of a case, it was the start of a new chapter, one that forced her to live in the shadows of what had come before. And so while Johnny walked into a future that felt like a second chance, Amber faced one that demanded strength of a different kind. Both of them changed, both of them scarred, and both of them forever marked by the battle that ended but never truly left their lives. Their lives may never cross paths again, but their names there forever tied. Not just because of love, not just because of courtrooms, but because their story became one of the most unforgettable sagas of modern Hollywood. It was more than a divorce. It was more than a trial. It was a mirror reflecting fame, power, and the way personal stories become public property in the internet age. Think about it. A relationship that should have been private became one of the most public events of our time. Everyone became a judge, a commentator, a watcher. Strangers felt invested in lives that weren't theirs, cheering, booing, laughing, and crying at moments that in reality were devastating for the people involved. That's the cost of fame in today's world. Once your story escapes your hands, it belongs to the public. So, what do we take away from all this? Maybe it's a reminder that beauty and brilliance can hide cracks. That even in Hollywood, where everything sparkles, real lives are messy, painful, and complicated. Maybe it's a warning about the dangers of public opinion. Or maybe it's simply a story of two people whole-loved, lost, and fought until nothing was left. And now it's your turn. What do you think about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's journey? Was it a tragic love story? Was it a cautionary tale about fame and relationships? Or was it just another reminder that behind every glamorous photo, there's a story we may never fully understand? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know your take. If you've made it this far, don't stop here. Check out our other video where we break down Johnny Depp's comeback story. It's one you don't want to miss. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into Hollywood's most dramatic story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss the next one. Because in Hollywood, there's always another chapter waiting to be